welcome to Let's Talk Art, and today is Wednesday the 7th, and I am so excited to be here with you guys once again. And last week we had a really fun show with 3 artists that had come in, and we had a contest, and the OMG Florist Boutique had picked a painting that was really something that felt great to him, and he made this amazing arrangement. Actually, you can see a little part of it left from last week because it's still making this place smell so gorgeous, and really it's a beautiful, beautiful arrangement, and we'll look forward to seeing him next week, I hope. And today I have a real special guest with me, Chris Reisert, and he is an amazing glass artist, and I will introduce him after our commercial. But first I wanted to talk a little bit about the fact that I have been doing glass art for a really long time, and I think, oh, there's some pictures up behind me. I don't know, the camera's not focused on them at the moment, but maybe we can get them in a second. It's right behind me. Okay, here they come. And well, maybe they are. But I've been doing glass for many, many years, and I did happen to had a great opportunity to meet Chris way back, and we'll talk about that too in a little bit. But my glass pieces are all over there. There's some of them, okay, right now, and there's one behind me too. Oh, Chris is on. Hi, Chris. It's fine. And so I've been fooling around with doing reverse painting on the glass for many years, and it's like one of my favorite hobbies, actually, as far as a medium goes. So and my husband and I took a trip a few years back. We were lucky enough to get invited to the private boathouse of Dale Chihuly. And I guess most people really know who Dale Chihuly is by all his glass pieces that are all over the world. And I'm going to show you some photos of my experience in there. So there we go. Okay, so when you go into this boathouse is where Dale lives part-time, and he used to do most of his work right there. And so when we went in, he wasn't there, but that's just a picture. I just wanted you to see what the space looked like. And all his other artists were in there, you know, preparing for new pieces. So let's move to the next one. Not him. Hey. Oh, yes, we are slick. That was very slick of you. So somehow Vinny's going to put us back. Thanks, Vinny. Oh, that was adorable. Okay, so there is Chihuly making a piece of glass. He's, you know, got his magic wand and he's forming a piece. Okay, the next one. Okay, so now this is from my pictures when we went in. And first we went to his library, and we walked in there, and it was like an amazing collection of amazing antiques and all kinds of things that he's saved through his life. And it was really exciting, and I wish I had a picture of it to show you, but I didn't do that. But the picture that is on the screen right now happens to be in the bottom of his swimming pool, and there it is. So the whole swimming pool room is got chandeliers all over it. It's got mirrors everywhere, and it just lifts the light of all the colors. And it was really, you could see me sort of standing there. It was really an amazing experience. So then there's one more after this, or 2 more. Oh, this is it. So at the end of the tour, and I wish I could have showed you more pictures, like I said, but this one is just their art room where they're designing some of the pieces and drawing them first, and I guess, and making them come alive. And it was such an exciting situation for us, and I adored the whole thing. Unfortunately, we didn't get to meet Dale, but I got to see most of his insides of his life in his boathouse. So that was really, really a wonderful experience. And moving on, we are working on a real special new idea, and we're going to bring it out later on another show. But we're starting a artist network, and it's got to be incredible. And we're going to do commercials for the artists and anybody that wants to be interested in this. You can contact us, but I will send out more information probably on my Facebook page or my Instagram page, so you can see what we're up to. But it's the most incredible medium to get, or actually a way to get your art noticed. And good old Slick keeps coming in and out. I always like company. So if you want it, as you know from all my shows, there we go. You can go to amyershevsky.com and you can look at my art. And if there's anything you'd like to see, I'll be happy to bring it to you. And a lot of experience, new experiences going on in the station, and we're going to bring that to you shortly. And I'm real excited about what's going on. So stay tuned. And I'm going to take a little quick commercial because I want to introduce my very special friend Chris, and we will be right back.
OMG Flower Boutique is a family-owned and operated business. We specialize in custom arrangements for any and all occasions, big or small events including weddings, birthdays, dinner parties, bar mitzvahs, etc., while offering the best prices and highest quality flowers to our customers. We offer online ordering, pickup, and delivery. For more information, go to our website omgflowerboutique.com or call us at 561-806-5818.
Welcome back. So you saw in my commercial, I added a few segments in there for two artists, and if anybody's interested, we're starting to really promote and helping out everybody to get involved with the show. So let us know if you really would like to join the Art Network and do a commercial. So here we are. I'm ready to introduce Chris Reisert. I always
quite all right.
Press, and there he is. So welcome.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be here, and it's an honor.
It's a pleasure for me. Yeah, Chris and I met many years ago when I was doing a project or a commission for Temple Bethel in Boca Raton, and I did a big piece of Passover, which if you follow my show, you've seen a whole segment on it. And Chris was there to help me. I think, did you let it for me? Did you do the letting, or somebody else did?
Well, Bob did the letting.
Bob did the letting.
I helped with some of the guidance and structure
guidance
on some of the detail.
Oh, the detail, and then the installation. You were there for the installation. So, and that's where we met, and we've sort of stayed in touch on and off. And I remembered. I said, "Oh my God, I need Chris on my show." So here he is.
Yeah.
I know you studied in Fort Lauderdale at the Art Institute.
Yeah.
But before that, did you know that you wanted to do something with glass?
No, I was into illustration and design, and was definitely going for the career that would be an illustrator, designer. I mean, I drew as long as I can remember. You know, that was my thing, and it wasn't until upon graduation that I happened upon a small little stained glass studio in Pompano Beach.
Oh, okay.
And I walked in there just to hang
Green,
out because
yeah.
you know, our pool company was next door, which I worked at there as
Oh,
well,
okay,
construction. But anyway, sure enough, I'd hang out inside that little studio and watch them do stained glass and some other little things, and I was very intrigued. Like the minute I saw it, and since I had the art skills, I was ready to try something.
And then you moved on to the one in Delray Beach.
Yeah,
that's where I met you.
Well, that was a little after. So
okay.
After starting with the glass there, that small studio, I ended up opening up my own studio. Like my dad saw that I was able to do the glass work, and etching was the one thing that I started out doing. And with the etching, I wasn't taught how to etch. I just knew art skills and airbrush, and when I saw the sand and the stencil, it's very similar. So I ended up, you know, taking and embracing that technology and just trying with it. And then I soon opened my own studio, Accent Glass and Design, in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
Which I worked at for 8-9 years. The yachting industry was a big deal. I did a lot of work in the yachts. And then I had the opportunity that arose where one of the guys that worked for me went to work for Art Glass Environments. And then he had pitched me there and said,
Right.
hey, are you
That was a
interested
great
in
place.
that one? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I ended up going with them, and I was there for 13 years. And the work that we did was so high caliber for
and you
interior
learn,
design.
I'm sure,
Yeah.
amazing things.
And as far as I was good at etching, so that's what I was hired for. And then they did all the stained glass and the leaded glass, and being in that element of all the artists in the studio and seeing all the different things, you know, that's where it really opened up big time for me as far as, you know, the art of glass as a whole, because prior to then it was more etching.
All right,
And
okay.
sure enough, I got involved with all the details and all the different jobs, and
Learning how
you know,
the cutting and the, oh my gosh.
yeah, and because I was really good at drawing and art, like I can draw anything, you know, from scratch,
Really?
not looking at anything.
Wow.
I usually create first, and then I'll go for reference to refine. And when I saw the artwork that they were doing and the leading and the leading design, you know, I was you know, glad that they asked me to, you know, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And you know, did refinements as I was allowed, and
Yeah.
it was fun, you know. And that, I was going to say, when we met and it was glass, you know, I was
Yeah.
so intrigued that
Yeah.
that you were doing glass, and we never really did a lot of glass painting like you do.
Yeah.
And when I saw it, it was definitely appealing. And
Yeah, mine's reverse painting, so
Yeah.
this phone is driving me nuts.
But you know, so with Art Glass Environments and being there for 13 years, I guess everybody might remember '08 got a little dicey.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
it was, yeah.
Things kind of went weird, and you know, with that, you know, became challenges. I mean, listen, times change. Look at everything that happens.
look at
Nobody
this year.
expected.
Yeah.
Nobody expected what has come now, and boy,
Right.
has that changed the world of art. And,
Everything's changed.
and design. And
Yeah, and it's opened up new avenues too.
it has. I was
yeah.
going to say some art people have said that this is their best years ever.
Well, you know, we had more time to sit still and occupy our minds with doing our art projects and not running all over the place because we couldn't.
Yeah.
So therefore, we were building up our own, you know, amount of stuff.
That's funny you say that, because you know, a lot of people, they're too busy for art, and boy, that
That changed a little.
yeah,
Yeah.
that
yeah.
kind of helped them.
Yeah, and I
relax.
know now you're doing some amazing projects. But first we'll talk about those. But first, I'd like to start to bring up the first one. I think of the pictures that we have is you in the booth. I think so. No, that's not it.
Oh,
okay, but we could talk
that's
about
okay.
that one.
Yeah, why not? Why it's up. Anyway, so this is a brand new commission. This is a traditional Tiffany-styled stained glass window. It's a big one, and it's 50 by 73.
Is it for a house or?
It is for a private home, yeah. It's going to be an interior panel, but the lady had asked, you know, because I was going to install it in the opening, and she says, well, can you put a frame on it so that it can be a piece I take with me and carry with me? And that,
okay. So it's
you know,
not-
hearing stuff like that from me, it's pretty good. So I know it's a collectible piece,
Right,
and you know,
right.
of course, I put a little extra effort into the making of it, and man, we're really
Yes, we
knocking-
don't really have the finished product, but this is all the steps that.
This is in the works. I only have what you see finished at this point. I did the rendering, and I started cutting the stained glass. We worked on the colored tail, which is what you see, and the detailing in the glass and the selection of the glass. I mean, I had 45 or 50 pieces of glass around me just to pick the ones I want for this. Anyway, we're going on, so it's a colored peacock and a white peacock in this window with that tree leafed border.
Wow.
And the white peacock, which you can't see in the design right there, is white, you know what I mean? So it won't show here, but it will show against the clear glass.
Yes.
And then with the color of the iridescence and all the mixture. So
I can't wait to see that
Yeah, this is going to be one of the most stunning leaded glass windows I've ever been involved with, and it was an original art design. Like, I studied really hard
on the peacock
online, you know,
detailing.
Yeah, where I already did my drawing, but now I went back in to study what they'd use for color and glass, and so this is going to be one for the record books when I'm done.
Very pretty, yeah. Okay, we have another one? Okay.
That's a neat sculptural piece. You know,
Now, where would that be located in?
So this sculptural piece, I had planned this for 8 foot tall, 9 foot tall. Like when you walk in your house, this big giant sculpture. Well, in order to show it and sell it, because on drawing it didn't look anything close like that.
Yeah.
So I ended up doing this model mock-up.
Right.
So it's like a scaled model that's yay big. I can't remember how big it was. And then in order to hold it, like I was carrying around to show people, and it keeps falling over. So I said, got to put this in something, a
box,
structure.
yeah.
So it would be something like this, where somebody has a structure either big enough, like on the stair line,
Right, to hold that kind of piece.
Yeah, sometimes there's a pass through in a house, like at a stair or between two rooms.
Yeah.
Something wild like this could be.
Yeah,
easily done.
so explain what that really is. I mean, it's a crisscross.
So that is
how do you,
that is simple plate glass that's cut in strips.
Okay.
The exact same strip over and over again.
Oh, layered.
And then when it's laminated and bonded together, it's twisted like the helix, as you see.
Wow.
And then it gets that depth and dimension and sculptural element that really is pretty wild. And this spun so many other ideas and concepts that have come since then that just, yeah.
Yeah, every day's a new day.
It's a new day.
New day, new idea.
Yeah. Like I'll dream things at night, and next day I'm whipping it together. That's what I did today. It's like
Yeah,
I was
that's what you
more
said.
nervous today. It's so funny. I was more nervous today than I've been in a long time.
Trying to get the project done?
It wasn't for the show. I'm excited for the show.
Oh, yeah.
I was nervous because I had this idea and this concept we started just the other day. And it's like I had to get into the studio and get it going and working so my guys can be working on it and developing it. We don't have pictures of that today, but it'll come soon. But it's a really wild, elaborate frame, mirror frame.
Wow.
Very architectural, very designer.
Yeah, well,
Colorful,
you'll have to show us
potential,
that
yeah.
eventually, too.
Yeah.
All right, let's go for another one. Ah, beautiful.
That's a new one. That's pretty interesting. It's a brand new custom sculptural table. Now, this is a glass art collector that came to me asking for a table, wanted something kind of cool, and she invited me. Well, this came through a designer, one of my designers, and she says, you need to come to the house, take a look around. And when I went there, funny you say something about Dale.
Yeah.
She's got like 2 or 3 Dales.
Oh, okay.
She's got the Linos. She's got all these famous glass artists and all these pieces she's so proud of. And when she's asked me to design the table, you know, I love everyone who's an artist and that really gives it their all,
Right.
or even gives it enough.
Right.
And then of course the glass artists, especially because I'm in the industry.
Sure.
And I was going to say, when she asked me to do this design, I thought this cool concept up, and it was challenging. You know, that's big field bonding. You know, putting the
So are there's layers of glass? Is it underneath so it's smooth on the top?
correct. And what it is, it might be 35, 40 pieces of glass that are all bonded together as one solid structure now. And we're using this glass adhesive, this super state-of-the-art glass adhesive.
Oh, I was looking for that a couple years ago.
Bolé. Bolé has a very good one and an outstanding design for this,
Yeah.
professional stuff. Anyway, getting this big field laminate and so many of them without the air bubbles and the imperfections is tricky.
Yeah, I'll talk about that later with you off the show, because I've made beautiful long pieces of glass that are painted, but they go in the middle of a table, and I had to come up with like a square to stick it in.
Yep.
You know, like the 2 prongs.
Yep.
And they never would stay.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll talk later.
Well, we will, and also, you know, I told you before about I can't wait for our next piece together.
Oh, I'm
where
so
I'm going to put
excited.
the pieces together just like this table, but I'll
Okay.
put them in a different configuration where they're layered and laminated and dimensional.
Painted, and then painted.
And do your
whatever.
Do your
Oh
fancy
my God,
painting.
that'd be so
Yeah.
cool. All
It'll be
right.
wild.
All right, let's move to another photo. Oh, this is gorgeous.
Cool. In flight is what it's called.
In flight.
Yeah. This unique piece, I had this idea. We're messing around with a kiln, hot glass. Now, I don't do hot glass. I've got guys, Ben Zeiton Center for the Arts, a bunch of artists that do it. That's all they do.
Okay.
And I love that part. But this is kiln form glass. So I have the kiln, which I've done a lot of melted stuff before. I've tried fuse bowls and all that stuff, and we've done some neat stuff. But this came as some interesting thing where lighting and light fixtures is such a hot item right now.
Oh, big time now, yeah.
And what I was thinking is that it would be pretty neat to have a little pinpoint light coming to a piece of glass that was slumped, and that was the thought. And then I thought to myself, I said, well, first of all, how am I going to slump the glass? What am I going to slump it on? And what is it going to look like?
Right.
So when we're dealing with thicker plate glass and we go to slump it in the kiln, you know, it's different temperatures. We're messing around.
Yeah,
and the
just
only
to
thing
see
I
what
could slump it
happens.
on, so I
Yeah.
got a whole bunch of stainless steel bolts and put them in the kiln. I dripped all this glass, or not dripped, I balanced all these pieces of glass on there, and we fired it. And it
my
took us
God.
like 15 different cycles. The one melted too much, the other one not enough.
But you didn't give up.
Didn't give up. And the other thing with that is getting it in the kiln and it's off the shelf. Either you're going to get a texture of whatever it's on, or it does the devitrification, so it gets cloudy.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure I could polish them all out. Well, we did with a little cerium and stuff, and we polished
Wow,
them all
and they
out.
came
Perfect
through.
crystal.
And then you hung them with what?
A small, fine wire, like almost invisible. You can see it. Clearly, you can see it.
On the picture, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I'd planned this for a custom closet, like a luxury
Oh, wow.
closet island, or
Can you
know,
imagine?
well,
to have
peop-
that in my closet?
Yeah. Well, people say like an island in a kitchen or somewhere like that, but in the kitchen with the cooking and the grease, it
Yeah,
wouldn't be
yeah.
as easy as a closet.
Right.
Closet's usually clean, little more. So anyway, this became what would be a really neat hung light sculpture over a closet island.
It could
Well,
be anywhere there, really. I mean, you could put it in any part of your house.
The Cultural Council, came around. They were doing a glass light show, and they asked me if I had anything, and I said, well, I have stuff, but I don't have it ready to hang. And
Right.
when they asked me, I had just enough time. I said, well, I can put it into a sculpture, like I did that one we saw a minute ago.
Yeah, yeah.
I said, well, how would I show this as a sculpture? So I built this big, giant
Box.
box to house it.
Wow.
Get all the lights in there,
That's
and then
spectacular.
and then when I made the box, I was thinking to myself, it would look really odd if the bottom was solid. So I said, what can I do with that?
And then put the
And I did a
little-
variety of things. And,
Uh-huh. You
know,
came
we
up
were
with
ta-
this square.
Yeah, we were talking about putting stuff in there, but then one of my other buddies just said, just light it.
No, yeah, because it's
And it
just an
looked so
architectural
cool.
look. And
Yeah, so an architectural element.
Yeah, and you
but
could probably, for somebody else, they could probably put the pin color lights in if you wanted to just.
100%.
Yeah,
And
and
not
they-
only that, I didn't do it, but I could color those glass edges.
Oh, really?
And or like one of the other guys saw this, and then the visions come about he wanted this wild hung sculpt, like just crazy stuff on the wall.
Yeah. Well,
And it's like, that's what I love hearing.
yeah.
something-
You want to hear something so outrageous and different that it just will make you get more into it.
Yeah. It's a drive of mine. Is
Oh,
that,
sure.
always coming up with something new, something different. and
Absolutely.
It's been the trend, because
Yeah.
I haven't repeated
Anything.
a piece, anything, not even close.
Yeah, I don't repeat much either.
Yeah.
Just move on. Let's see, we should have some more. Oh, Slick, be quiet.
Now,
Oh, so
a
this is
cool
a closet?
piece. Yeah.
Okay.
This got into organic carving. Sandblasting is, so common. Over the years, everyone says, "Oh, I don't like sandblasting or etching. It's those leaves and flowers stuff." And over the years, to be able to get more elaborate and stuff, and I don't know if we have any of my deep carved, like super deep carved stuff that might come up here, but this was another style. It's organic carving where I'm like, well, how difficult can it be? So, anybody can do this kind of stuff. And I went to one of the first jobs I did, and I just went to glass. Of course, I would test it on a first piece. Drawing
Right.
doesn't tell you everything you need to know.
Right.
So I took a little piece of glass and I started doing stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's terrible. I thought it was going to be easy. So I did it over and over and over again. And every time I looked at one, I said, okay, I like this piece, I like that piece, and layering. So I went through 15 pieces of glass until I'm like, that's
Oh
what I
my
wanted.
God, you have patience.
And that's what I did for that first one. And the first one was a different job than this, but at least the
Yeah.
first time out.
Yeah.
Then when I did this one here, it
was a little
like I
easier.
already did the runaround one time, but I still had to do a model and a mock-up, and I did 2 versions to get it to where I really like the balance, the continuity, all that stuff. But anyway, this is a Boca. It's a Meisner Grand.
Okay.
And this was one of those typical closet doors, those cheap closet doors that
Yeah,
you
sure.
open up. They're like the safety backing on the back. So when the closet was closed, the really nice closet closed, you didn't get to appreciate anything in it. So when we set this up, and this was one of the designers I'm doing a lot of new work for, Jamie Hirschlinger.
Oh, good.
It was her idea. She saw the organic carving and she says, I want something spectacular like this in this closet. We did it. It turned out awesome. And now when you walk by that room, that hallway, and you look in, you can see the clothes and you can see the island. It's like
when
looks
it's lit
really
behind
high.
it.
Well, yeah, because when the lights are on in the closet.
Wow.
You know, when the lights are off in the closet, it gives that dark background.
Right, and then it lights up, and oh my God,
Yeah.
that's gorgeous.
So then, of course, you walk in and you know, slide one door or the other door, you know, either one, you can go in. So the ends are doors, the center's the fixed panel, and then you just got to make sure you don't open them together, though.
yeah,
Well,
I mean, but you
stopper,
can.
but-
I mean, you could put something like that in any part of the house, really.
Yeah, most definitely.
That is just amazing. I see we have another one.
There's my study. Some of
Oh,
my
that's
study
the
models.
study model.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now this was interesting because we were not just etching organic design work, and that's what I'm talking about. The other piece we'll work on is that what you can't see in this picture is that's layered, thick pieces of glass, multi-bonded like that table, and then they're carved.
Oh,
So to a distance, what you see here looks like, oh, cool organic design work, but then when you look up on it and you see it and you walk by it, now you see into the pieces and the cracks and the layering and how thick it is, so it really becomes like a cast work of art. And it's funny, like small scale renderings, you know, I throw a little figure in there to give them the idea of the scale. This piece is only this big, but it can easily be 8
Oh,
foot,
sure.
10 foot tall, so
yeah.
it gives that look, but that's very neat.
Very cool.
And it's neat model making like that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Next one.
Do a
I
lot
think
of
we
that.
have more. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
This was a wild
Oh,
one.
is that beautiful?
So this is, I did a model on this one, and I don't know if we have a picture of that, but I did a scale model on this thing. It was about this big by that wide. This design, a client came to me. She wanted something really wild and special for a wall, a dimensional wall. And I went through a whole series of quick sketches.
So it's a wall, but you could see both sides of the rooms?
This is 8 feet wide, 11 feet tall.
Uh-huh.
There's 9 columns of glass that are about 400 to 450, 480 pounds a piece.
Oh, my gosh.
There's space in between there, and
Uh-huh.
each one, if you see into the top there, so I have this set 9 columns of sculpted glass that are all different configurations that are set. The weight of them, they're not in the floor, they're just set on the floor on this non-skid, and then they're put up into the ceiling. That
Oh.
ceiling soffit is where I have the high intensity LEDs that I put in there.
Okay, so I see that's just the light of the other room, okay, at the
Well,
top.
yes, the light of
Okay.
the other room.
So they're just weighted enough that they're never going anywhere.
Never going anywhere. You'd have to take a truck back into them to get them to skip or move out of there, and nobody can push them out of the way because
Well,
they're
that
on.
installation
Yeah.
must have been unreal.
It was wild, and the coolest part about that installation, or the most tricky part of that installation, was in the ceiling. See, I kind of thought I'd show up with this glass, put it in there, and they would drywall it
Yeah.
to get it finished and out
There
of
was
there.
no drywall.
Well, there could have been and would
Oh.
have been. It would have been very easy. But the only problem is that if I would have lit that with the LEDs and then they drywall it, what happens if something happens?
Yeah.
You know, if a light burns out, like
Yeah.
that would just
You
be
couldn't get to it.
anyone's luck. Like the week later, one light goes out, we'd be, you know, SOL. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, I had a design engineer. Not only each piece is different, so I had a space or a cavity that the pieces go up into. I had to figure out what metals I can put in there to cross brace each one. Then I had to leave the space room for me to get the light panel in. And then the light panels were custom made light panels. You know, the LED strips, like they have light sheets that you can cut whatever shape you want. But the light sheets, the LEDs are like an inch apart.
Right.
And I said, we
Yeah, you have to get
need these
closer.
things like married to
Mar-
kissing
yeah,
each other.
yeah.
So I got the really tight run where they're less than a ½ inch apart, and I made my own light panels. And I took the LED stripping and I let them right next to each other, they're touching
Unbelievable.
each other. And then when I was done, instead of trying to get the lighting guy to figure out what I was trying to do, I had to do my own soldering of all the wiring. So each one of them, where I cut it, they tell you cut here. All I had to do is I had to solder the wire positive to positive, you know, over and over again to every one.
So you're an electrician at the same time.
It becomes everything. Structural
Everything.
engineer,
Oh, yeah.
electrician,
Yeah,
plumber.
architect, everything.
Yeah. You know, often I'll get to a job that has something to do with the bathroom or sinks or whatever, and it's like, you know, I've done all that stuff to know
Enough
or
now.
I'm adventurous enough to say and see what it is. I remember one that was it was some interesting sculpture, and this I'll try to be brief with. They would have had in their kitchen to put a big column in because they needed 220 into the island. Well, getting 220 to the island for their stovetop, they would have had to raise the whole floor of the whole apartment. So the only way they could do it is put the column in to hide the 220. Well, I designed a really interesting sculptural piece. It should have had the Chihuly glass wrapped around it, but I had this custom stainless steel pole made that went the whole span, had it bevel cut on the bottom because I knew I wanted it to be like this cool pole. And on the pole, I did these stainless rings for wine bottles to sit in.
Oh,
it's gonna be a wine rack.
Oh, so yeah.
So what I proposed for the client at the time was that we're going to make the hot glass pieces wrap around this thing so it's a real sculptural work of art. Solves the problem, gets the electric down there. Of course, the electric, I had to do the 220, feed it in there, reconnect it, all that other stuff. And I'm, not an electrician, don't tell anybody, but
yeah, well, you know
anyway,
what you're doing.
It's simple stuff
Yeah, simple
at that point. And what happened is a client, they didn't want to spend the money, so all they had was a stainless pole with the wine bottles.
Oh my God.
And it never went further, but it's okay,
But you learned all.
Yeah, well, and talk about problem solving. You couldn't have gotten that, with any more clever, scenario as a piece of art and sculpture.
Yeah,
it
to
could have been
put it all
finished.
tied together. Yeah, amazing.
Yep. So this was wild, and then when this thing was done, it spun more of the heavy, creative, more of the lighting. Just about everything we do. Man.
Yeah,
Light,
it educates you
brings
as you go.
Yeah.
So I think there was one more before. Vinny, is there another one? Oh, the video, yeah.
Will that work? That'd be great.
Yeah, that would be terrific.
So, me in the sandblasting booth, suited up. I've got a huge booth. It's 12 feet wide, 12 feet tall, about 25 feet deep. And whereas a lot of times when people do the etching and the carving,
I always wondered about this.
They'll put the piece into a cabinet, put their hand in there. You've probably seen that before.
No, not really.
I suit up and dive right in. So this huge thing, I've got a big space suit, big helmet. I've got all the air fed with CO2 monitors in there.
So you're etching the white lines in there? Is that what you're doing?
That white lines are exposed mirror. This is that Alina job that was
yes.
on the one that we saw with a photograph for your ad for
my gosh,
for
yes.
this talk show.
Yeah, it's on the promo, guys,
Yeah.
if you want to see this.
Yeah, so this is the Alina job, and these are the mirrors I'm carving. Those mirrors are 9 feet tall. I'm 6'6", but I'm on a 4-foot ladder to get to the top.
Oh,
And that was the booth where I was doing
spectacular.
the carving. So I would literally get in, down and dirty with the stuff, and that.
Wow,
that's
so
the
anybody
fun
that
part.
wants to see his work up close and personal, you can go over to Alina. It's not open yet, though, right?
I don't think it's open yet.
Yeah.
It's open to the clever ones that can say, "Oh yeah, I gotta go fix this, fix that," but it's coming, and it's
oh
really
my God, that's
spectacular,
amazing.
spectacular job.
Yeah, and I know there was one table that caught my eye as I was going through some of your pictures, the ones that you did for the furniture store. And you did.
Oh,
you
the Browns.
Browns, yes,
Yeah.
and you did. That was all
Interiors
string
by
art.
Brown. Yeah. Well, it wasn't string art. That was a huge 3/4-inch conference room table.
Right.
They had the big cutout in the middle for the Cestron or whatever that component is that you can plug your phones in.
Oh, okay.
Plug the computers into. And what it was is that it was a technique that I saw before. So it's not a brand new technique, but it's a challenging technique and a very time-consuming
like
one.
all crisscrossed
So what I
in there.
did is we did all these lines that crossed over each other.
But what'd
like,
you do the lines with?
carving, just like you saw. So,
It was carved.
Yeah, so we covered
I thought
the
it
whole.
was string.
No, we covered the whole
amazing.
table with that blast mat.
Oh my
we
God.
cut out all those lines, so we had all the lines cut, and we carved every one of the lines. And what we need to do there is that the glass is thick. We have to carve to a point where we can get like the edge, a decent edge. Because when we're all done carving, we strip the entire thing, and then I do what is a very light dusting on all the clear spaces that are not lines.
Right.
And then once it's done, it comes out into the studio, and we are sitting there with little mosaic tools, tip, hundreds and thousands of
Oh my gosh.
like little chips right against that line.
And how long would that take to finish this project?
It took 3 or 4 of us, a week and a half.
Week and
like
a
we were
half.
chipping away.
But every day
Yeah.
on
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Anyway, it was such a neat look. So you have the carved line, which is the linear design. Then you have the frosted background, which gives you that second layer.
I wish I had a picture of it.
when you get that little chipped piece off there, now you got your sparkle. So
Yeah.
it really is
Oh,
something.
yeah, the
and
edge
this is
just glows. Browns.
Interiors by Brown,
Yeah.
which is in Boca.
Yeah.
Brown's Interiors
I
been
know
around
Dana and
forever.
everybody, yeah.
Anyway, it's their conference room table.
Yeah,
You can
Dana,
walk
I'm
in
coming to
there.
see it.
You can walk in there anytime and see that one, and that was
Yeah.
pretty wild.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
All right. So, anything you want to talk about, new projects that you have on going on, or
There's a lot every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
can't nobody can keep up with you?
Yeah, there is a couple. I guess it's just such drive to create anything, really. You know, and glass is my medium, and then what the appeal in glass is, as you know, and other people know, is the
Right.
optic element of what you see. And yeah, I if you look at my website and you read all the captions, in most of them it says this picture cannot possibly give you the idea of what it looks like in person.
No, that's
and
for
it really
sure.
does.
Yeah.
So when you're walking and moving by a piece, the reflective optics that the light catches inside the piece and cast back at you is something that it can never be duplicated in a photo. Even videos are difficult. Like when I do the videos, I'm like, it doesn't look the same.
Of course not.
But anyway,
yeah.
the people that see it and they have it, and just like that collector's table that had all the Chihulis, they said, let me tell you something, this is spectacular. They sit at it every day.
Wow.
They've got all the great glass work, and then they got
Right.
this simple, modern, cool new table, and
That's great.
Their pride and joy.
Yeah.
But so I've got a bunch of things to come, and one I was telling you about briefly today. That's another one that comes. But the big one I want to do is going to be taking those long, big chunks of glass, like the columns and the
Right.
other big pieces,
Yeah.
and integrating them into a wall with architects and designers. And what it would be is that you won't see most of the glass. Most of the glass will be internal. What you will see is those little areas where the glass comes to the surface or out to the surface where you're like, that's interesting, what is that? And then when you hit the lights on, now it lights and illuminates.
Oh my
But then
gosh.
you walk up to it and you're like looking in, like, what is it? And you can see into where it's going to go to other parts. Well, these are going to be
for a 3D-ish.
well, they're going to be integrated into the wall
Uh-huh.
to where some parts you'll see through the room,
Right.
other parts you'll see down the side, but it's really,
Yes. Oh.
so it's like a sculptural glass wall that's encased in stone, wood,
Oh my gosh.
laminates, whatever
Wow, that
we
is
come up
amazing.
with. And it's going to be some really wild stuff.
So how do people find you?
Word of mouth, really. I don't do much advertising, and word of mouth, like this video.
Okay,
First time in a TV studio.
Oh,
I'm very excited about
Yeah, no,
this.
this is terrific.
Yeah, and the website, reflectivecollections.com.
Collections.com, yeah. And,
And
his
then-
website's awesome. Go look at it.
Yeah, and then Instagram. Somehow, when I was starting Instagram very quickly, I did come up with a name, and I don't remember if my name was available or not available, or it doesn't even matter. But I did. I wanted to say Glass Art. So I started out Glass Art, and then I did Reflect, which is the
Reflect,
company,
right,
and then
right.
WPB for West Palm Beach.
Okay.
So it's Glass Art Reflect
Reflections.
WPB.
Okay, great.
And
Oh, so you didn't mention that you're in Palm Beach, West Palm Beach.
yeah,
So you have a nice, beautiful new,
10
well,
10
you've
years.
been there a while,
10,
but
10 years in this new studio.
yeah.
It's a rough cut working studio. It's like we're trying to turn it into a gallery right now.
Okay.
Our focus is on the product and the glass.
Right,
so,
right.
You know, and I'm not prepared to have contractors come in and do the work while I'm doing. We're going to do it. You know,
Yeah.
it's our place. We want to make it special.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's a working studio. It's a kind of rough cut working studio. So you come in there and you look around. There's a lot of, it's not the glamorous place, but you look at all the glass in there and all the samples laying around. It's pretty wild in itself. It's like anyone's working studio, kind of.
Yeah, I was there once, but a while back.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine what it looks like now. It's
Yeah.
probably double the.
Well, we gutted the front office room
okay.
to turn it into the elite gallery.
Okay.
And some things came about where that stopped now. And it's funny. I guess briefly, in a side note, and I'll say this right now, is one of the jobs came about. My daughter's school had a play, and they needed backdrops, and they were saying, hey, what can you do? I said, well, I don't know. What do you need?
Yeah.
And they're telling me they need these backdrops of these big giant books and all this other stuff. And we got engaged with some serious efforts, but I did them all out of paper.
Wow.
So I had giant
Oh my goodness.
brown paper backdrops that we illustrated and painted. so we could drop them out of the ceiling or lift them up and put them up real quick and take them down. It was such a hit. St. Joseph's School, I think there's a link in the St. Joseph's School for the plays to see
Yeah, well,
illustrative.
You should have it on your website too.
Illustrative.
Yeah, you should be proud of it. I know it's not
website's
glass. It's
straight
not glass, but yeah,
anyway,
or just a little story about
it was neat. Well, anyway, it wasn't just a little effort. It was
Big
weeks and weeks and weeks.
Oh, you didn't know what you got yourself
and it was,
into.
and it was my team. I had my employees, everybody. We got engaged.
got
to
behind it,
Get
yeah.
this thing done. Well, that
Awesome.
we could have finished the studio in that time.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
Okay, all right.
one thing leads to another. But
yeah, and then we had COVID and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, we've all been hibernating a little bit. So, this has been a
well,
wonderful time
yeah,
together.
I'm going to say the last thing is just wait and see what comes next.
I know, and hopefully you'll see what comes next between the two of us. 'Cause
Absolutely.
I'm very, very excited about that.
Yeah.
And we could show the progress on our show, and we can,
Most definitely.
that would be a lot of fun.
Yep.
All right. Well,
thank you, anybody who tuned in, and
yeah. Thanks, guys,
It's
for tuning in today.
certainly
And we'll see you
pleasure being
next
here.
week. I have a very interesting person coming on who does a lot of charity work, and her designs are all over the place, and we'll talk more with her next week. I'm not giving you too much right now, so just bear with me and tune in next week. So look forward to seeing everybody again, and have an artful day, and
yes.
see you later, guys.
Thank you.